Good evening everyone, and welcome to my brand new Patreon only lecture series, where every month we'll be taking a look at notable and not so notable individuals chosen by you from some of your favourite gaming worlds. To grow awareness about the new course, this first lecture is completely free, so please share the word. To see future lectures, make sure you become a patron at any tier for as little as $1 a month. The link will be down in the lecture description. To kick us off though, we'll be looking at someone who is not exactly the strongest, but who is definitely a mystery with an interesting story to tell. It's the Guide from Terraria. The Guide is an individual of indeterminate age, appearing physically to be relatively youthful, possibly in his mid to late 20s. However, he may be much older chronologically. Although going by many names including Asher, Dylan, Scott and Zach, the Guide's true name is unknown, and he is most often referred to via his alias and occupation, which is to assist those new to Terraria in surviving and crafting their first tools and weapons. Most so tend to be able to quickly outpace the Guide in ability, leaving him next to useless. An interesting point is that some of the underworld demons can be found in the possession of a voodoo doll of the Guide, which, if destroyed in lava, will kill the Guide and summon the dreaded wall of flesh. This indicates that the Guide has a lot more to him than first meets the eye. In actuality, very little is known about the Guide, of their motivations or connection to the world of Terraria. It is known that he may be part of a group referred to as the Order of the Guide, an organisation that has apparently persisted for countless generations, preserving what scraps of knowledge remain about Terraria's true history, and potentially training many heroes throughout the world's existence. How the Guide came to be intrinsically intertwined with the underworld, with an effigy residing in the hands of demons, is at present completely unknown. However, legends persist which attempt to fill in the gaps in the Guide's history, and endeavour to explain how they came to be in their current situation. These stories posit that, to begin with, the Guide led a simple life in a quiet village, but as a birthright member of the Order of the Guide, was duty-bound to face a catastrophic threat when the eldritch deity Cthulhu descended from the stars to enslave Terraria. The legend continues to imply that the Guide was unable to destroy the Great Old One, so tore their body asunder, creating the eye and brain of Cthulhu. In recent years, this aspect has in fact been debunked, with the act actually being carried out by the Dryads rather than the Guide. Regardless, the legends go on to tell that the Guide eventually chased down a flesh prison Cthulhu had planted at the centre of Terraria to bind the power of light, in order to undo the Great Old One's dark curse. After fighting the hordes of hell and convincing them that the Dark Lord had deceived them, the Guide found that he was unable to destroy the prison, and resolved to also bind the power of night in an attempt to counteract Cthulhu's actions. Again, this part of the story conflicts with recent revelations, but the story does go on to state that the combined power of light and night within the flesh prison resulted in the creation of the Wall of Flesh. To stop this new threat, the Guide resorted to using incantations he had learnt from the old man in the dungeon to bind his own soul to the wall in order to satiate it, crafting parts of it into voodoo dolls of himself and entrusting them to the demons as a promise that he would never return, lest the beast be again unleashed. In the coming years, it's said that the Guide awaited a hero to continue his crusade against the dark powers still lingering in the world, but unable to find a suitable candidate, went on one last quest to create one from his own essence and a lost power hidden somewhere in Terraria. Once this new champion had been born, the Guide did everything they could to train them, but the time soon came when all they could do was anxiously watch their progeny and pray for their success. Despite the contradictions between old legends and the uncovered lore of the Order of the Guides themselves, the Guide can still be said to be enigmatic at the least. The fact that its true unknown history may be vastly different to that given in myths and folklore only makes him all the more interesting. Not to mention, no matter the case, he must have close ties with the demons of the underworld and the Wall of Flesh. It's just a shame then that when he is finally encountered, he's actually pretty weak and much less than his reputation made of him. For these reasons, his notoriety has been logged as moderate. So there we have it, first lecture in the new course done and dusted, and if you ask me, I don't think it went too badly. Please be aware that future lectures will be Patreon only, but to see them it'll only cost you as little as $1 a month, and for that you'll also be able to vote on what we cover next in our exclusive Patreon polls. Next month I'm thinking we're looking at either Gordon Freeman from Half-Life, Doom Guy from Doom, the Mechanic from Terraria, or Master Chief from Halo. So head on over to Patreon and the choice will be yours. Links are down in the description. Have a fantastic day, and I hope to see a lot of you here next month. At the very least, I expect to see you for our regularly scheduled, and might I add, free Artifacts lecture on Wednesday. So I'll see you then.